Okay, we're now going to go to agenda item 7 of the Licensing and Regulatory Committee. And as we're now live streaming, I'm County Councillor Linda Guppy, Chairman of this committee. And if the rest of the people within the room introduce themselves.
My name is Brian Strong. I'm Vice Chairman of the committee.
Debbie McCarthy, Whole Place Manager, Monmouthshire County Council.
Ben Winstanley, Estates Manager, responsibility for markets.
Samantha Wynne, Senior Licensing Officer.
Lynda O'Gorman, Principal Licensing Officer.
Robert Tranter, the Legal Advisor to this committee today.
Paula Harris, Democratic Services.
Jim Higginson, Member of this committee.
Martin Hickman, Member of this committee.
Dave Evans, Member of this committee.
Ralph Chapman, Member of this committee.
And John Prosser, Member of this committee.
The reason why this matter has been brought here today is an application has been received for a Block Street trading consent for Monmouth Town Centre. I refer to, which is attached to this report, as Appendix A and Appendix B. I refer to Appendix A firstly. There is an error in the application form which states that the trading details, actually, that the Monmouthshire Town Council will actually do this check daily and set up of stalls. That should actually read Monmouthshire County Council. So there's an error actually in the application form for you to be aware of that. The application was received on the 2nd of June 2016 from Miss Sharon Hutchinson on behalf of Facilities and Markets for Monmouthshire County Council. The application is to request trade-in Monday to Sunday between the hours of 0700 hours until 2300 hours. And the location and the pitches are actually referred to on the plans in Plan A, B, C, D and E. With all Block Street trading applications and other street trading application, that matter is then sent out for consultation. Within the application, I must stress in 3.2, they have stated that if the consent is granted, that they will ensure that the conditions are met of the consent by giving each prospective pitch holder a application form which highlights those conditions for them to sign, that they will duly comply with those conditions in place. The application was circulated, and we've had a number of responses and comments, not all sort of objections to it. There was a late response from Highways, which I'll refer to also. In 3.3, Environmental Health say they have no objections to this application. They would, however, need to be a robust health and safety risk assessment for each location to identify slip, trips, falls, traffic management, areas by the river pond within the proposed new car park area and potential risk eliminated or controlled. It further stated that Google St Mary's Church, and does not appear to be any cemetery attached, so no issue with stability of headstones with regards to the trade in there. Planning, they've come back with if they intend siting stalls at any of these locations for more than 14 days in any calendar year, they require the benefits of planning permission. But it must be borne in mind that decision here does not require planning to be in place before consent is granted. That'll be a matter for the planning department. Highways, further response from Highways. Initially we had a comment that the stalls would need to be arranged in order to accommodate access for pedestrians at all time and maintain vehicle access where located within the highways unless an additional application of road closure is made. We did have a further comment from Highways from a Mark Davis, which we received on the 6th of June. The comment basically was, Priory Street 4 stalls appear to be used in the public highway footway. Closure will be required or at least suitable positioning to enable free passage of pedestrians. Great Castle House, Castle Hill, 11 stalls appear to be utilised in public highway. Road closure will be required. Agincourt Square, outside Shire Hall, 17 plus 12 stores, road closure and footway closure required. Mono Street, 6 plus 16 stalls will require suspension of disabled parking provision and limited waiting parking. An Old Mono Bridge, 13 stalls will probably require part road closure. So that's the response from Highways. Traffic management, with regards to Gwent Police, they've basically said on plans A to E, this show stalls on the pavement area of Priory Street just past the museum. Their pavement will be used and is close to the on-street parking area of Priory Street. This could cause congestion for pedestrians. So again, it obviously refers to like the necessity for road closures, really. The plan also shows a number of stores on Church Street. I'm aware that at least one retail outlet uses half the width of the street to display their goods, which would make additional stores difficult. There's also the concern regarding emergency vehicle access to the busy area, which has restaurants as well as retail outlets. Also access residential premises. The map would also seem to indicate the full width of the carriageway used in Agincourt Square and Agincourt Street. This is busy through route in Monmouth, with the only alternative being the A40, which is a principal trunk road. Also, that provision is in place for emergency vehicle access to various premises in the area. Plan B shows 56 stalls. On the road ground, there's no traffic management issues. With this other than displaced vehicle park and possible distraction on the southbound A40 dual carriageway. Plan C with regards to the 100 stalls on Chippenham, no traffic management issues other than additional vehicle parking requirement for the town centre. Plan D, the traffic management concerns with this plan would be the 74 stalls on the car park and the 22 stalls on Mono Street in respect of displaced vehicle parking. This would create an area where parking is already at a premium. So that's the actual responses back. With regards to it being deferred, I highlighted you to the policy with regards to the car parks. So Section 7 of the policy states that trading is not permitted on any council or pay and display car parks, and the applicant has requested such trading in car parks. So with that in mind, you have to sort of decide whether you're going to go against the policy in this instance to permit the actual trading within the car parking area. So that's the main points of the report. And the reason why it's been deferred here today, A, is because it's gone against the policy, but in view of the nature of a block street trading and the annual sort of consent, that it's a matter for committee to decide on whether it should be granted today.
Thank you. The committee ask the applicant any questions. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know whether you were talking to me, Chair. I'm a great believer in festivals and markets and all the rest of it. So, but I could, as a member of this committee, I have to ask the pertinent questions. So I will say, did you consult with the local traders? And if so, what was their opinion of the introduction of all these stalls? And two, when we talk about using any car parking space up, are there adequate alternative parking facilities available to accommodate those people who would come to see the market? I mean, you're taking away part of a parking spot and asking more people to come. So, are there views on that, please?
Okay, I'll pick up with, we currently run a Monmouthshire County Council runs a market in a section of the car park already. The nature of the application is twofold. One, the entire car park is not going to be taken up on a regular basis. This is for special events only. This block trade-in will allow us the flexibility to do that. The majority of the trading week to week will be done in the area already designated for that purpose, adjoining the public toilets. With regard to reference to the consulting with traders, we will do so on as and when applications arise, but we haven't done so to date.
If I can clarify with regards to the market that's in question, it's recently come to light that there is no order of a market. It was actually initially used for agricultural markets, not food sort of stalls. So hence the reason why it's actually been included in the Block Street Trading application, to overcome the fact that it's not exempt under street trading consents. So they're going to continue as they have normally, but to ensure that the correct legislation is followed.
Can I just ask, with clarification, I think it's the Chippenham car park that we're concerned for, with the market going on the county car park.
The one I'm referring to is the actual market that's the lower end of Monmouth, which is, I'm trying to think what the name of the car park is called.
It is Chippenham.
Yeah, you know better than me.
It's a cattle, which is opposite the entrance to Waitrose, opposite the delivery side. Yeah, there. Are you just going to keep it within the area that the market already exists, or are you going to expand, taking up more of the car park?
The main market, the Monmouthshire County Council market that's already being currently run, will stay exactly where it is. We've highlighted the other rest of the car park because of events. So every year Monmouth Festival are in that area, and they have about 8 or 9 stalls, and we're just making sure that those events that are going to come up in the future we've got some sort of provision for in the future, rather than them having to then apply for Block Street Trading that could come over year after year, and we'll look after it under one banner, but Monmouthshire County Council will have control. We also wouldn't do this without the permission of all the relevant authorities, whether it's highways or car parking or open spaces. It's just not a given. Those people, if they come to us wanting to use the licence, then they must comply with all those other areas too.
John?
Just an observation, I was just counting the stalls. There are over 200 stalls could be in operation. I just add in on the map. So that's 200 parking spaces, I would suggest, already going to be taken up just for the people supplying the stalls. And then you add the attracted more people. I'm just thinking of I'm aware that Monmouth has restricted parking. And so it's that implication that I feel is got to be upmost in our minds, that yeah, we can put all these things in, but we've got to make sure we've got adequate parking spaces as well.
Noted, Councillor. I think that's something that we can take control of when an application comes in to use it. This is merely a mathematical equation as to how many stores could potentially be in the area. We were required to put a number in the box, and that's the maximum potential. Agree with your comments and take them on board as and when.
Jim?
We talking about not regular markets, but as and when, and it happens across the piece, I think, and I don't see a problem with it.
Dave?
Madam Chair, these events happen right across Monmouthshire, and we know very well in Caldicott that we have events put on, and we have to find parking for it. Luckily, we got Motel car park we can use, or we got the bottom field in the castle, you know, if it's around the castle area. In the town, we can push them out to the King George the playing fields, and if needs be, we could open up other areas. So I can't see a problem. It's not going to be a regular thing. It's not going to be a regular thing. It's going to be as and when.
Can I ask if you can give us some information on what your plans are for what events that you've got, if this licence was given, what have you got in the offering at the moment?
Okay, the only event that is on a regular basis at present is for Monmouth Festival, which is a 9-day festival held every year, and that concentrates on the bottom of town and they do use the car park or part of the car park, it remains as a car park during the day, and in the evenings then it's closed off for the public to use. They also hold a carnival on one Sunday in that 9-day period, of which they sometimes have stalls in the high street. Apart from that, we've just tried to cover it to help the community hold events, so that if they are holding events in that area, this Block Street trading consent will cover them if they are indeed going to have some commercial buy-in in those areas. So that's not to say that every area is going to be used on any regular basis. As we've alluded to, it will be as and when the community want to hold events that will incur some form of commercial operation.
If I can further clarify, if the consent is granted today, there would be no opportunity for another person to apply for a similar consent. It would be for the facilities and markets to actually manage those users coming into the area, so you wouldn't have an influx of other people making an application under street trading consent.
And just to clarify, that I think it was said that the council officers will take charge of this and not the town council. Is there capacity for the officers to take this role on?
One for me. Yeah, we've got members will be aware that we've got a budget mandate against the market service for more income generation. This is but one strand of what we're looking towards for further income generation. We have a market operative who attends and looks after the stalls on a Friday and a Saturday, and that's the regular market that we're looking to include here. For the other events, we will have to manage them on as and when. I believe there is capacity, JS.
John, a further question?
Yeah, I know it's not a legal obligation, but being of the age I am, when I'm going around markets, I often have to go to the loo, and therefore I would... are toilets taken into the equation anywhere if you have mass festivals in the regulations? I'm just reading through all the conditions, as and I can't find the reference to toilets, but I'm sure it's there somewhere. But I would anticipate you'd get temporary toilets in if you had to, if it was a big festival type thing. But I assume that's in the regulations. I just couldn't find the line, to be honest. I just wanted assurance on that.
Perhaps I can assist before the applicant actually sort of says as well. A lot of large events go through the Event Safety Advisory Group. And in that you'll have a number of people, and it will be environmental health will look at aspects of toilets and is there suitable toilets for sort of festivals and things like that.
Yeah, just to further that, actually, point 33 in our day market pitch conditions says that the traders and their employees should be accessed to there. So, yeah.
Okay, is there any further questions?
The only thing I'd like to point out, obviously, we've had issues raised by highways, so if the consent is granted, perhaps the wording of subject to road closure will appropriately be marked on the consent if it is granted today.
Have you got any comments, or do you want to sell your pitch?
I think this is this application should be supported. It's threefold really. We've got a we're trying to correct a situation which exists with the long running market. I think people do come back to that market. It's quite important for both the traders that are there and recognised within the community as having some value as well. Flexible pitches, access for small businesses to get in and have a trading format. There's also the more difficult pitches which we've highlighted here throughout the town, which we do see as an opportunity both to regularise under our current regime, but also potentially to raise some revenue from. but also assist, as Debbie very eloquently put, the any festivals for the community which do add value to the community also. And I believe there's been some support there from council and subcommittees as well, town-wise.
Okay. Dave?
Madam Chair, I think it's forward-thinking. It's good. It's going to be good for Monmouthshire, and I'd like to propose we accept the application.
Okay. Can I, this is where it happens all the time, if there's no further questions, well, could I ask you to leave and the officers?
And just a point, this meeting is being live streamed. So at this point, do you turn off the live streaming? What do you do normally? I don't normally do this committee, so.
Chair, I must admit, it does make a nonsense of me asking people to leave a chamber while we live stream into the world. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So if anything, we should be in committee and live streaming stops while we deliberate and then continues after. That would be the sensible option, in my opinion.